Hi, this is Grouper Training, the admin track, covering a minor upgrade of Grouper. I'm Chris Heiser from Internet 2 and University of Pennsylvania. We'll introduce this topic. We'll look at the upgrade instructions. We'll download the new release. Use the config files that we are using currently for the version of Grouper we have. We'll diff and merge the new example configs. Turn off the old services. Run the changelog one last time, turn on the new services, and test. So the Grouper upgrade covers all the core components of Grouper, the API, PSP, web services, UIs, the various clients that you have in your institution. You might not be upgrading them to the latest version if they don't need new features and they are backwards compatible. So when you're doing a upgrade, and in this case we can look at the 2.1 release notes. So we're going to upgrade from 2.1.0 to 2.1.1. So you can look at the release notes, you can look at the full list in Jira. You can familiarize yourself with what exactly is changing in this release. You can look at the upgrade instructions, which generally we don't have much to say for the minor releases, but you could search for 2.1.1 and see if there's anything in here. In this case, this is just patches on 2.1.0 to fix certain things. And then there's a wiki page called Release Changes, which this is going to cover all the changes to the config files and jars in the various Grouper packages for each release. So in this case, I can search for 2.1.1 and I can see that the Grouper WS need to merge the Grouper WS.properties with the example and the web XML and Access2 XML and Grouper WS.properties and the subject API. So the next step is to go to the software download page and download whatever components you use. If you need to get past releases, you can edit the download link. So if you go to this page, you can download the API binary, PSP, the UI, web service, client, etc. So I've done that. Right here, and then I unzipped all of those packages. So now we'll use the config files that we were using on our previous release and put them in the current version. And so this is easier if you keep track of which configs you use. So I'm just going to install the current version. I just use the installer, so I can go and get the various config files. And I can put them over in the new API. And then I can do that for the UI I don't have any custom web service configs here. I could take the web XML of the build version, web core, web Ajax, because I'll build from source. And then also take the build.properties file. Put that over there. So whatever files you changed in your other deployment, you need to copy them over. For web service, we can do the build.properties. And we can do the config file. Etc. Finally, I can take the grouper client.properties and put that in the new grouper client directory. So now I can diff and merge the new example configs with the ones that I had, and you can use WinMerge or Eclipse or diff and just see what's changed between, in our case, the 2.1.0 configs and the 2.1.1 example configs, and merge in the differences as needed. So for instance, let's go to the client binary, and we can take these two files and we see that the web service URL is different from what we have deployed, so we expect that, so we'll just keep that there. The output version in the example was taken out, so we can take that out of our version. In the new version it's 2.1.1, in the old one it's 2.1.0, so that's fine. And that's it. So we didn't have anything to merge in the... we just had that one deletion to merge in the client. For the API, we can look at some of these, grouper with grouper example. And we didn't really make any changes in these configs, so we're okay. Let's try the sources. So here, the format to lowercase is in the example but not in ours, so we can move that over. And now we'll try the grouper loader with grouper loader example. And we'll add in the new configs. Do the grouper WS and grouper WS example. We'll change this cache param. And the default is now JSON, but if you have clients that are expecting the default to be XHTML, you might not want to change that. In my case, I don't have existing clients using that, so I'll take the default of JSON. and we want testing version can be 2.1.1, that's fine. So after building and turning on your new grouper and testing it in a test environment, etc., we need to migrate to the new one. So we're going to turn off all of our old services. So here's an example of the loader running. And I can kill that. Here is Tomcat running, and I can shut that down. And I've got my HSQL database running. I'll just leave that running. Just to make sure everything is finished processing, let's run the changelog temp to changelog job one more time. So let's open up a prompt, and we'll open GSH in the old version, and we'll start a grouper session. And we'll run this job. So it's basically the loader run one job, changelog temp. Now, if you looked in your changelog temp table, it should be blank, and everything should be migrated to the changelog table. And we can now turn on the new services again after we built them and tested them and everything. Let's build the UI. And we'll build the web services. Then we can go to where Tomcat configures where the web app is. And we can adjust this. The new location, or you would just copy your WAR file into the web apps directory and remove the old one. Now we can start Tomcat. Basically, these are issues where the class UID changed and it was in sessions. That's okay. Exception loading sessions from persistent storage. That's okay. So here we see grouper starting up 2.1.1. Let's go to the URL and see if it works. We can log in. And browse around. And then for web services, let's try 2.1.0 client. And basically I'm running java-jar grouper client.jar get members ws with debug true. And the response that I get back says server version 2.1.1. So the last thing I want to do is try with a 2.1.1 client. So I'll copy this command and straighten it out a little bit. And try it from .1.1 client. So basically we passed in 2.1.1 in the client and received back that we're 2.1.1 in the server and everything was still successful. So we hit the UI, try a web service call from clients and legacy clients like we just did. We can start the loader. We can make sure the loader jobs still work. Make sure your PSP is still provisioning the LDAP, etc. Click on the quiz link in the video description to reinforce your knowledge of this topic. Thank you very much. For further information, look at the wiki, the demo server, etc.